back to another episode of
Make It Make Sense podcast. And we are here to talk about real life, real business, real us. And we're your hosts. I'm Crystal.
And I'm Ricky.
And today we are diving into a topic that is very close to us, and we want to share with you guys about grief.
Yeah.
And just how we came to this subject.
So this episode will be titled Season of Grief. And what we kind of received in our being guided to figure out why we talking about grief and what does grief mean, and hopefully this sheds a light and it helps somebody.
Absolutely.
So I kind of want to start with you just telling the people kind of what led you, because you told me that this episode finna be about grief. So what kind of led you to talking about, for us to be sitting here today talking about grief?
So you guys just bear with me as I tell you guys how God brought this topic to us. It's something that I've never dealt with. I've never had a dream that was so heavy, if I could be completely honest. I've just never felt this feeling. And it just happened one night where I just went to sleep. Normal. It's a normal day, normal time. However, but as I'm in this dream, I am in our old apartment. And my husband had an incident that caused him to not walk.
I had a gunshot incident where I was wounded by a firearm and I couldn't walk. My leg was almost taken off.
But that was a time where it was a hard time for us, to be honest.
Yeah.
For him and the incident, and for me to adjust to what happened, and just living our lives, trying to live normally during a pandemic as well. So during this time, and this is what's happening in the dream, I'm seeing our bed and I'm seeing him in the bed. And as he's in the bed, he is crying. And I mean, he's hysterically crying. And he's kind of bent over to the side. Now, remember, he's not walking. He can't walk. So it's just literally him with his legs just there. And he's just bent over crying. And I knew that I was in front of the bed the way that I was looking at him. So while I'm standing there and I'm trying to talk to him, it just looks like he can't hear me. And I'm steady telling him, like, everything's going to be okay. Like, you're fine. It's going to be okay. But I'm hearing him as clear as day as saying, I've lost everything. And, every time I tell this, I start to feel that emotion again, because it was a pain that I couldn't help him with. It was something that I couldn't get him to see, like it was going to get better. It was something that wasn't going to last forever. But the way that he was crying, I've never seen before. I've never witnessed. Like, he does not cry. So in this dream, I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I could hear him crying loud. So the dream kind of takes a shift, and now I am in this store, and I'm kind of like, it looks like it could have been like a grocery store or just something, and I'm like in the middle lane of it, and I am watching my brother that passed away a couple of years ago. I'm watching him walk towards me. And as he's walking towards me, I'm noticing he has a crowd behind him. And the people that's behind him, they look like they're like in a choir stand, or they're dressed up really nice. And they all walking, and he's in the front, and he's looking really sharp. I will say that, like, my brother was looking really good. And he walks up to me and he holds me, and I mean, he's holding me so tight. And these are the emotions that I'm feeling as I'm in this dream. I'm just starting to feel all this pain again that I experienced when he passed away. And as I'm looking up at him, I was almost to the point where I don't want to let him go. Like, I just don't want to let him go. I'm still not understanding why he's left. And sorry, baby. I'm sorry.
Just keep going, keep going.
You guys. So I'm holding him tight and I don't want to let him go. And all those emotions are coming back to me again. And he lets me go, and when he lets me go, I'm starting to see him drift, like fade away from me. And I'm noticing that he's leaving me. I'm sorry.
You fine, baby.
I'm noticing that he's leaving me. And as his face is fading away, I hear loud and clear the season of grief. So as I wake up, I immediately tell my husband, and I'm telling him, like, God is calling us to talk about the season of grief. And I'm explaining to him the pain that I'm feeling and the heaviness of this dream, because at the time, I really didn't understand his pain. And I didn't understand what you went through at the time. But I was like, I don't want to feel that, So I always put that pain to the side. I always kind of like, because I don't understand God's plans sometimes. And I don't understand why my brother's gone. Like, I don't, at that moment, I didn't understand why he's making me go through this dream again. Like, that's painful. It's hurt. It's confusion. It's a feeling of loss.
It's that grief, that burden.
And I didn't understand. And I can still feel them emotions now, is because at first I was like, I didn't want to talk about this. That was my first reaction to the dream. And when I heard it was time to talk about the season of grief, I also heard him say grief comes in different forms of loss, not just death. And I'm like, what is God up to?
Yeah.
Like, what does he have us doing today?
Yeah.
Oh.
And
This was a deep one.
Yeah, she woke up and she told me, she said, well, she woke up and she said, I know what our next topic is going to be about. God told me. And I'm like, what'd he tell you? So she said, it's going to be titled The Season of Grief. And she started to explain to me the dream and how it was brought to her. And while she's explaining it, like she said, I was in the bed and I remember this time in my life very vividly. It was like one of the hardest times in my life, to be honest. Um, let's say I went through the most pain I've ever went through, ever. And I'm saying pain so bad that it made me not even want to live, to be honest. I had to sell guns and hide them, so I didn't use them on myself. It was that serious, that deep. I would rather have died in moments of going through that than to live. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how bad it hurted. Uh, so when she's telling me the story, I start to go down memory lane, and I start to feel that pain again, and all of the thoughts that I had, all of the stuff that went through my mind at that time. And the I ain't gonna lie, it kind of like sent me down that dark little hole all over again. You get what I'm saying? So like she said at first, I'm like, I ain't like, we can talk about grief, we ain't going there. We can talk about grief, but we not going there. This is my first kind of like reaction to it. And she told me, she was like, God said you had to be in agreement to it. And I really fully didn't agree. I mean, fully understand the agreements part. But I'm like, well, if God telling us to do it, we gonna do it. Whether he tell me to plan or he tell you to plan, if it's sent from God, we doing it. And so we kind of like dove into it, and as we went into it, it was started to be revealed to me why grief, why now. Do you get what I'm saying? And it was kind of revealed to me in different parts. You get what I'm saying? Like I think first we started with the definition of
Yeah.
grief.
Now we needed to know exactly what grief meant, because what I thought grief was, I'm like, I mean, it's pain. You know, people grieve. It's pain.
They
Like
sad.
what? Well, that's okay, God. We got it. It's pain.
Yeah.
But that's just the start of it.
Yeah. So once we I was like, let's Google it. What is grief? If God wanted us talking about grief, we need to know what is grief. So we first Googled grief, and let me look at my notes. I can tell y'all what we Googled and what we got. So the definition of grief: a natural emotional response to loss.
Hmm.
Includes sadness, anger, shock, disbelief, guilt, etc. Uh, so with that being said, I'm like, sometimes, because I'm one of those, you just can't tell me something and I just believe in what you say type of people. So I do kind of like a deep dive into kind of everything. I'm one of them rabbit hole type of people. So I'm like, well, let's just make sure that grief, this is all that grief means.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see where grief came from. And that led us to the old French grief to burden.
Mm. Which I didn't have a clue. I didn't
Then,
have a clue. Mm.
so once we looked that up, and I was like, okay, so to grieve is to burden. You get what I'm saying? So we delved into what does burden mean. You get what I'm saying?
I actually
It,
have that on my phone.
okay.
Um, Let me just pull that up really good, really quick, because I want to make sure we have it correct. Which was, a burden meant something that is carried, load, duty, or responsibility was the main thing. It's a load, a duty, or responsibility. Something that is carried.
And so once we got there, and it was like, so grief gets deeper than just a sad, a mad, a feeling
And then you have a natural response
to it,
to the burden.
which is grief.
Wow. So it's like it goes hand in hand pretty much. Like you can't have a
So
burden without the
without
feeling
the
of
feeling
grief.
of grief, so grief is really the emotion behind a burden.
But burden is not just, because I thought burden, like we always say, like God gives his uh
His biggest burdens to the strongest warriors, or
yeah,
something like that.
or soldier, and I'm like, I don't want to carry that burden. You know, like, but to think of it in a sense of, now that we got the definition, and it was a responsibility
And a task.
to carry a burden. What? And these are the feelings that I'm going to have while carrying
About
this
going
burden.
through it. Mm-hmm.
Okay, God.
And
Okay.
so once we looked that up, I was like, okay, well, I see that grief refers to having a burden. Do you get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Or the emotions behind carrying a burden.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So I was like, so God, what is you saying about this stuff? And that led us to Googling what the Bible say. And the first thing that was brought up was Exodus 23:5.
And
And
I'll pull that up for you.
yeah.
Um, which was um, it says, if you see the donkey of one who hates you lying helpless under its load, you shall not leave the man to deal with it alone. You must help him release the animal from its burden. And I was like, I'm okay.
You get, but when I heard it, it was like God immediately spoke to me and he was like, you see how it says the donkey has a burden.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? But the donkey is laying underneath the burden.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So to me it was like, dang, God wouldn't give us a burden that we couldn't carry.
Mm.
Just like the master wouldn't give the donkey a burden that it couldn't carry.
Mm-hmm.
But like the donkey, we sometimes uh get caught up in the grief of carrying the load and we fail at it.
Yeah.
We lay down and we lie up underneath the grief instead of carrying the grief and carrying out the task and completing it like we supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So it really tried like spoke out to me, and I was on the phone with a friend, uh, and we was going back and forth about it because it was like God was just speaking, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like and this is what kind of like starts to tie it back to the dreams. I mean to your dream, because we were talking about losses, but we gonna put it on me and my burden when I was laying there in that bed. Yes, I had to go through the pain of being shot. I had to go through the trauma of it, even the fakeness of uh the mental battle of
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be dead. Why am I still here? You get what
Mm.
I'm saying? Dealing with those thoughts of a lot. You get what I'm saying? While going through pain, going through relationship problems at the same time, just going through a lot, you would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And at that time, um, like I said, I rather not live than go through what I was going through. And to make it through all of that, now I see, because even once I was able to come out of the room and walk again, which was what months later, like
Mm-hmm.
2 3 months later.
Yeah.
Um, it was like God took me through that. He put that weight on me to give me a greater appreciation for life because I
Mm.
didn't appreciate it.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it. I'm gonna say this: when I stepped outside for the first time with no help, to see the sky, to see the wind blow in the trees, it was like I could finally appreciate the blessing of life that God had gave us, the beauty in it. You get what
Mm.
I'm saying? The things that
Mm-mm.
I will walk past every single day and pay no attention to. It felt
Mm-hmm.
so good just to get outside and look up into the clouds and see the sky in itself, to see the sun. You get what I'm saying? To have it to have the wind blowing through my hair. You get what I'm saying? Things that we take for granted every single day. God gave me a new appreciation in the midst of grief, in the midst of a burden. You get what I'm saying? So I was looking at it as, God, why me?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Why me, God? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to, you get what I'm saying? When and I thought that I was doing things pure heartedly. I was
Mm.
a good man. You get what I'm saying? I thought all of these things of myself that were revealed to me, like, nah, you didn't even appreciate the trees.
Mm.
You didn't appreciate the clouds in the sky that I blessed you with. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let alone you didn't even appreciate the life that I gave you. You get what I'm saying? So, um, it's like sometimes we don't realize that you going through it, but there's a reason. You get what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
made me look at a burden differently after we kind of dove into what God says about burdens and the different burdens that He places on people. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And that in the end, it's all meant for good. Like the Moses story.
I definitely was gonna go to that. Um, if you know,
Go ahead.
um, so during the time of the dream, days, maybe weeks before that, I was reading Exodus, and I'm reading and I'm like, I've already read this story. I've already know about it, and I'm still trying to understand, why does God have me in Egypt, Exodus? I'm sorry. Why does God have me reading Exodus? We know the story, we know the ending, we know how it happens. Everybody talks about it at church or however. But as I'm reading it, and when I learned who Moses was, I'm like, okay, it makes sense now after having the dream and we discussed it. Moses was called to, um, he was called to pretty much help God let his people go from Egypt. He was sent to talk to a king and to tell the king that he must let his people go. But when God came to Moses, and I thought this part was very significant, when God approached Moses, the first thing that Moses did is he rebutted. And he was like, why me? Like, why are you choosing me to go and talk to the people? Like, I don't have good speech. I'm just Moses. That's how I took it. And God was telling him his plan, like, this is going to be a good thing. This is going to let your people go so they don't have to carry the burdens of the Egyptians and what they're doing in Egypt. And with that being said, it was like he would go to Pharaoh, and that's the king in Egypt. He would go to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh wouldn't listen. He wouldn't do, he just wanted to do his own thing. So Moses, he was getting frustrated at the fact that he was going to Pharaoh and Pharaoh wasn't changing his mind. And once he approached Pharaoh, Pharaoh made it harder for the people in Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wanna touch on that a little bit, because like you said, God has sent Moses to free the children of Israel
Mhm.
from underneath Pharaoh.
Mhm.
Do you get what I'm saying? After he heard the cries of the children of
Israel.
Israel,
Mhm.
do you get what I'm saying? After the loss of their king, so they were going through grief, which was the loss of their king. And what I thought was significant about that is like the donkey. You get what I'm saying? That lied up underneath its burden to carry. The children of Egypt, I mean of Israel, they lost their king. You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
instead of finding a new king for themselves, they lied up underneath the burden of them losing their king that led to them because they never picked a new one.
Yeah.
So that led to them being enslaved because there was no one to lead them.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So instead of recognizing, God gave us the weight of losing the king so that we could find a greater one. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? They just stayed up underneath them losing their king, which caused them to.
Just have to accept what was given to them in a sense. I mean, they didn't take charge of it. Like, they
Like
didn't.
this is how I seen it. When when we read that, and it was like they were given because, like it says in what is it, Exodus 6:6, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from underneath the burdens of the Egyptians. You get what I'm saying? So that it made me think that for one, it wasn't their burden to carry.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? So sometimes when you don't complete the task of carrying your burden, other burdens are placed upon you too. And and to explain that, it was like I knew a guy who had the burden of losing his whole family. You get what I'm saying? And it wasn't until after us going through this I understood it because I was shown it through the story. Like he lost his family.
Mhm.
Uh that was the burden. You get what I'm saying? Well, the burden was to figure out why he lost his family
Mhm.
and what to do. You get what I'm saying? How to fix it. You get
Mhm.
what I'm saying? But him losing his family, he lied up underneath that weight. He realized why he lost his family, which is his love for money.
Mhm.
He put money before his family, so God gave him the task before God and his family. So God gave him the task of losing it all.
Mm.
You're gonna lose it all. I'm gonna take it all from you.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? And instead of him recognizing the assignment, which is learning how to deal with money and how to put God and his family first.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He lied up underneath that burden of losing his family and he couldn't take the grief, which
Yeah.
is the things that come with the burden losing your family. He
Mhm.
lost that family so he could learn, so he could grow from that.
Mhm.
But he didn't see the grief as that, and all he seen it was grief. I lost.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He didn't see the assignment in it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So with him not seeing that, he failed the assignment.
Mhm.
With him failing the assignment, it led to him doing drugs. You get what I'm saying? Which was an added burden. You get what
Mm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
A burden that he shouldn't have never carried. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You didn't have to carry the burden of doing drugs if you would have carried the first burden that God gave you and you would have completed the assignment.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
And let us know what is completing the assignment. Is it not recognizing that burden is a loss, like it's a bad thing, or recognizing that you have a responsibility right now? There's something that needs to be done.
Yeah, like, so let's go, but trying to explain this and putting it into what you saying.
Mhm.
Like, the beginning of the story of Moses with his mother.
Mhm.
She was given a burden of what to do with her son. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? That Pharaoh wanted her to kill him.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And if she didn't kill him, that could lead to her being killed.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So she took that burden and she took that task on. You get what I'm saying? Saying that I'm gonna do what God wants me to do.
Mm.
And my God doesn't want me to kill my son.
Okay.
So therefore I will risk my life. I'll carry this burden. Even if it means I'll die. You
Oh.
get what I'm saying? I carry this burden to do what God says and what God wants. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes, without knowing what God wants and how He looks at things, that can make carrying burdens even harder.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because you have no guidance in carrying your burden. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So with her, she like, God got me. All I gotta do is do what He says. God,
Mhm.
I know God don't want me to kill this child,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go hide the child.
Yeah.
I'm gonna risk not seeing my child again, and I'm gonna go through the grief and the burdens and the pains of that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go through the grief and the burden and the Pharaoh might kill me for this.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? But I'm doing what God wants me to do, and I feel like that's fulfilling the assignment. No matter how that makes you feel, no matter what's going on, what is God doing or what is God requiring in this moment? You get what I'm saying in this season because you could look at it as simply loss, or you can look at it as I'm hurting right now. I'm going through pain. It's a heavy load on my back. God, why?
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What are you trying to get out of this?
Okay. Okay. Not paying attention to the laws, but diving deeper into God's word to understand where you're at right now and to even lean on him
And
even
where
more.
he wants you to go? What do he wants you to do?
Now, I will say that since we know that there is burdens, we know that even going through Exodus. So, it's not like you won't carry a burden or that's not going to come, but it's the way that you handle the burden
Mm-hmm.
is what he's looking at.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So and I think the story of Moses is just like an excellent story to kind of explain the burden. Like the Pharaoh in itself, he was carrying a burden that uh many people don't even realize.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Pharaoh didn't know who God was.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And God sent Moses.
Mhm.
God even told Moses, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart.
Mm.
And I know when you heard that, you like, God, why would you do that?
I was like, okay, like why are you sending him to talk to Pharaoh if you know his heart is going to be hardened?
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mhm.
So Pharaoh, he hardened God. God tells Moses he's going to harden Pharaoh's heart. You get what I'm saying? And at first, I didn't understand it either. But then I got to thinking, like, okay, if I'm a king over a land and I don't believe in your God at all, I don't even know your God because it says in the Bible that Pharaoh knew not of the God of, what was his name?
Joseph.
Joseph.
So
He
he
knew
didn't
not of
believe in the
the
same
God of
God.
Joseph.
Yeah.
So he didn't know God. You get what I'm saying? Didn't know him at all. So, um, you come to a man that doesn't know God, doesn't believe, and you tell him that
Moses was sent from God.
my God said, let them people right there go. Them
Mhm.
people that you using to build up your whole city because the burden of Israel was to build their city.
Mhm.
To build because the Egypt well the burden of the of Israel was the burden of the Egyptians.
Mhm.
The Egyptians was supposed to build their own city.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? But because the children of Israel didn't choose another king, didn't have someone to lead them, wasn't under guidance, and this is how we should move, this is what God is telling us to do, they fell underneath Pharaoh.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Because they failed their task at finding a new king to lead.
Yeah.
Because they were too sad. They were laying up underneath their burden.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, with that being said, um, they were carrying a burden that wasn't meant for them. They were building a city that they weren't meant to build. That was
Mhm.
somebody else's weight to carry.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And Pharaoh himself, he was faced with the burden of learning who God is.
Oh yeah.
You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah.
That was the task at hand for him
Yeah.
to learn who God is, to know God.
Mhm.
You
Through
get what I'm saying?
Moses.
Through Moses,
Mm.
but he was failing it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then like, okay, so these is just like me just throwing out some of the burdens. Okay, so it starts with the burden of Moses' mother.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? And then it's the burden, well, really the burden of Israel
Mhm.
being losing their king, and then them falling up underneath the burden of the Egyptians, which is them being enslaved and forced to build the city that the Egyptians were supposed to build. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? But now they don't have to because they can put their burden on someone else.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So, and then there's the burden of Moses to go and free these people from underneath Pharaoh.
Yeah.
And then it's the burden of Pharaoh learning who God is.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They all had a task.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even the children of Israel, they were they were burdened with a new task of believing in Moses.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
get what I'm
yeah.
saying? So you got
Mhm.
all of these different type of tasks. Even that became a burden for
Mhm.
them to believe in Moses, because when they first stood behind Moses, what happened?
Yeah, it got
It
worse.
got worse. When Moses first went and told Pharaoh, let them go, Pharaoh said, no, we're going to work them even harder.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're going to stop giving them this and that and tell them to scatter the lands to find it, but I want the same amount done.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So he made it even harder, which made it even harder for the people to entrust in the fact that
Moses.
God sent Moses. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying? But imagine if those people, as soon as they seen Moses, they understood the assignment too.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And they didn't send Moses by itself.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? They, what if they had the true belief in true? But that's how you know God works perfectly, because it just wasn't about them being freed. It was trying to save Pharaoh too.
Absolutely.
It was about trying to save him too.
You're right. Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Mm. So, so Moses ended up doing what was done, but he did carry the burden of the children of Israel. Just the weight of seeing the children of Israel, um, the weight of it getting harder. So it's like it brings me back to the dream and just this moment of how I witnessed the pain you were going through and the
Mm-hmm.
weight that I felt and how heavy it felt. And it's just like, why am I watching him go through this pain all over again?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me now think of when Moses went to Pharaoh the first time and Pharaoh said, "Oh, it's going to get harder for you guys." And Moses went back to God and said, "God, now why did you send me them? And why don't you just take them out of this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why did you send me and now this is worse for them?" And he's like, God's like, no, it's okay. It's going to be fine. And he tells him the plan again. Go back and tell Pharaoh what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get the children of Israel from under the burdens of the Egyptians. He said, I'm going to. And I think what was so nice about that is that God was telling Moses the plan the entire time, but he wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wouldn't take that and trust in the fact that God said what he said and it was going to happen. Like he didn't find comfort in that. And we do that today.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
listen to something God said or we are firm in his word or however we say, but something comes up against us and all of that goes out the window. And now we can't carry the burden. We're stuck in the grief. We're
Mm-hmm.
stuck in the feeling and
Yeah.
the sadness and the pain of it.
Yeah. So when I go back and I look at that story, I'm like, dang, this is crazy, because uh, God sent him to free a people and save a man. Like, if everybody understood the assignment and what was going on, you get what I'm saying, then it would have just worked out perfectly. If Pharaoh would have been like, "Dang, you trying to teach me about God? Let me listen."
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And the he would have freed the children of Israel, and he would have got a relationship with God. You get what I'm saying? But it's the failing the task at hand.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? God sent Moses time after time after time, and then he even let Moses know in the beginning that he would do things if he said no.
Yeah.
So he didn't tell Moses in the beginning he's gonna say no. He told him what would happen
If he
when
said
he
no.
said if he said no.
Mhm.
So when he says no, this stuff is gonna happen. So don't worry about him saying no.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He was preparing him for the no. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? It's just Moses missed it when God said it.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So this was God giving him a chance, giving Pharaoh a chance. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So like like today in today's time, God will give us chance after chance after chance, like in our next episode. You get what I'm saying? How we have someone explaining the chances that
Mhm.
God gave. You get what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Chance after chance after chance is just, are you gonna heed the warning?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he sent him. He said, "Nah, I ain't gonna let them people go." He sent him again. Let him know the stuff is gonna start going bad for him,
Yeah.
and he ain't listen. He didn't fear God at all. I don't know your God. Why am I gonna be afraid of it?
Mhm.
You just came yesterday and said this. What did you do? Nothing. You get what I'm saying? So his disbelief, like it says, it causes disbelief. It causes sadness. It causes, you get what I'm saying? His disbelief was like, no, I don't believe in that. You get what I'm
Right.
saying? You burdening me with your presence and telling me to let these people go. You get what I'm saying? I ain't going.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? I don't. But when God started to show His hand, you get what I'm saying? Once the things that Moses was saying started to come true, what did Pharaoh do?
He actually at first was okay, like, okay, I'll do it. I'm gonna let your people go. But once he saw that God gave him a little bit of relief, he went right back and was like and took back over. So he didn't fully give up his control at once he received some relief of what God was putting him through. And I say that, and it makes me think of today of just, we'll be going through a situation and something may happen and we feel that heaviness, we feel the sad, the pain, we don't understand the confusion of it, and God will lift it, give you a little break,
Mm-hmm.
because not only are you carrying a burden, he's walking you through this burden, he's watching you go through it, and he's like, okay, she's listening, he's listening, I see it. Okay, he said he's gonna do what he said he's gonna do. I'll give them a little break.
I
And
give
the
him a little
moment that you
grace.
give him a break, you still questioning God. You're still sad. You still are not of not giving him praise or honoring him in a way that is just like, God brought you through that, and then another test come and you act just the same.
Mm-hmm.
You act just the
Like
same.
as soon as he like, all right, I'm gonna take the locusts away. All right, well we back. You get what I'm saying? Like he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna pay the bills. All right, well we back in the club and we back to doing this. We back to drinking. We back to partying. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that's kind of how it is. You get what I'm saying? In that sense of a burden. You
And
get what
I
I'm saying?
and I think for the title of this episode being Season of Grief, season is just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't for us to last. It wasn't for the
Meant to
grief
last.
for a long time. And sometimes we sit in that pain and that feeling for so long that now you're not even in a season, you're in years and more time than you were supposed to. And that's how Exodus happened. They were supposed to be in a 3-day wilderness, and it ended up being years and years and years for them to actually get to the milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of realizing that this is a task and a responsibility, that this burden is going to be lifted and I won't have to deal with it anymore, we stay stuck
Mm.
in grief and the pain
Like that
of it.
donkey, you lie underneath it.
Yeah, and you don't overcome it or even believing in God's word that he has you. He can tell you the plan, but you'll still question it. He'll tell you that it's going to be okay, and you'll still sit and be like, no, I don't know why I'm in this season. Like, I don't understand what's going on, which is laying your burdens down at his feet and
Mm-hmm.
not picking them back up.
Yeah, yeah. And I would like to add, like, for my season of grief, that I was a pharaoh.
Mm,
I was a pharaoh. I had so many blessings that God had blessed me with, surrounded by so much, but couldn't see none of it. Uh, Even though I thought the heart was pure, it moved wickedly, evilly. You get what I'm saying?
mm,
Like, uh, like it seemed like I'm helping you, but really I'm using you to help myself with leading with the fact that I'm trying to help you.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? And that's probably how Pharaoh ended up getting them in bondage. You get what I'm saying? Like by telling people, no, I'm here for you. But in all actuality, I'm here for myself, and you're gonna help me achieve what I want to achieve for me. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like God gave me chance after chance to shake that, or to think differently, or to lead His people differently. You get what I'm saying? But my selfish way of thinking and my selfish train of thought, you get what I'm saying? It led God to putting a weight on me that was so heavy. You get what I'm saying? He could have just took my life. You
Mm-hmm.
get what I'm saying? Like he could have did Pharaoh in the beginning. I could just kill you right now. I can smite thee if I wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm trying to save you. You get what I'm saying? And it took all of that and some.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? God consistently putting me through things that I never had to go through. You get what I'm saying? If I would have just listened, Pharaoh didn't have to go through none of that stuff if he would have listened.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? All
Right.
of them burdens was placed on him because he wouldn't listen to God. He wouldn't get that relationship with God to be led and guided by God to know I'm doing what's right.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I'm doing what's right in the eyes of God. So you feel me? His people are taken care of. You get what I'm saying? I wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
But that brings me to this, like, God's burdens were meant to build us,
Yeah.
not to break us.
Yeah.
And it brings me to think of now what the dream was really showing me, which is I overcame it. It was hard, it was tough, it was emotional. I didn't understand, I was angry, but I overcame it. And it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't meant for me to carry the burden of a plan that God had for at the time for my brother. It wasn't meant for me to carry the burden. He has a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and all of it was for my good. And for a moment I stayed in the place of just questioning God of why did you do it, why did you take him, why did you why couldn't he stay longer, instead of asking him, why do you have me going through this right now,
Mm-hmm.
you know and why did you have me going through that. And I got a better understanding because now I know, because if he wasn't, if that dream didn't happen, right? Or if my brother, excuse me, if my brother didn't pass away, I wouldn't have received the dream today
Mm-hmm.
to tell this message. And he gave me a sense of comfort that he's okay and that God is using him in a different way. Not what it looked like today on earth, but in what I physically wanted for him and what I wanted to see done.
Mm-hmm.
God was like, I have another plan and he's going to help me in another way. And you may not understand, but I'm going to use him for you. And so
Mm-hmm.
I now feel better going through this,
Yeah.
episode, or the weeks that we, led up to today, or however. I feel better and I have a sense of comfort because God's plan was better than my plan, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and I'm happy that I'm able to use this to share with, you guys and anyone else that those burdens, you got to let them go and don't stay stuck in that season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stay stuck in the season.
Going through this and seeing all of the different forms of grief, uh, but each one a different type of task. Like the children of Israel, their grief came through the loss of their king. Moses, his grief came through simply through a task put on him. Uh, the king of Israel, his grief came from the unwillingness to want to learn or know about God.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, to not listen and all of that stuff. That's where his grief stemmed from. Uh, the mother's grief of losing the baby. You get what I'm saying? It just let me know that no matter what the grief looks like, uh, that God has a plan for it all. No
Mm.
matter what you're going through, no matter what season of grief you in, or how that whether you sad about somebody passing, whether you are fearful of walking in the steps of God, whether you feared,
Financially.
you get what I'm saying. No matter what it looks like, what burden that is placed on you, God has a plan for it, and there's a specific reason
Mhm.
why. You get what I'm saying? We can't just look at grief as hurt and pain. We have to
Mm.
look at it as a responsibility given to us by God. You get
Oh
what I'm saying? A
yes.
task given to us by God. Now, once we start to look at it in that light, like God has given me this now, you could be sad about your bills, but you knowing that God has given me this so he can get the glory in the end. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You can't sit in that sadness. All you can do is praise God. You get what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Like you said something that was so beautiful. You was like, uh, in the other story that you were reading, you was like, didn't I tell you that I didn't want to bear a son, and this that and the third?
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
one, she didn't want the child.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? Then she was given the child, and
And the child
the
died.
child died.
Hmm.
You get what I'm saying? But what did she say when they asked her about it?
She said it is well. She said it was fine. Well, is it? It is well, which to me, it came to me as it is fine. She did not complain. She didn't take it as a loss. She didn't react to it with grief. She literally said it is well.
And that led her to being able to hear and do what God wanted.
Hmm.
And that led to what?
Her son coming back and coming back to life.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when you understand the assignment, God can move.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? That burden can be lifted. That burden will move.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Especially if you carry it the right way, like that donkey.
Is it
Instead
well?
of just
It is well. I'll keep that.
carrying
It is
that
well.
burden to where he needed it for, like a owner of the donkey. He puts the weight on the donkey and says, "I need you to get it over there." You get what I'm saying? So gotta put some weight on you and tell you, "I just need you to take the weight over there, and then I'll lift it."
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? He
But
gave her that weight and said, "I just need you to do this with the weight. I need you to do this with it." But if you can't hear what God is telling you to do with it, how's he gonna lift it?
But you know what just came to mind as we are talking, the woman that was supposed to kill Moses when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
Her posture automatically was, I fear the Lord. She
Mm-hmm.
did not complain. She didn't run from it. She didn't go and call her friends up and say, I'm so sad right now. I can't believe that he's putting me through this.
Mm-hmm.
She automatically feared God and was like, I'm not killing my son. And I know that God's doing something. And it made me think of the story we read today, which is the widow. I mean, I'm sorry, not the widow. The woman that bared a son, and the son, died. Her posture when it happened was, it is well.
Mm.
She handled it with a positive, like the posture was, it wasn't grief. She didn't lead with grief. She didn't respond to it in sadness, or when someone asked her how it went or how it was, she gave this posture of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it made me think of the burdens that we are carrying and the posture that we
Carry them in.
It's grief.
Yeah.
That's how we act. We are sad. We act like God didn't get us out of it the last time. And this is more for me than it is for anything, that I have to keep reminding myself when I start to feel sad over situations that are coming and things that we've been through. And however, like, he did it before, he can do it again. And the posture he wants me in is stand on that. Stand on my word. Stand on the fact that I said that I am. Stand on that. You know, if I'm telling you that burdens are going to come, because that's going to happen, then handle it with a posture that you know that I am. And I'm that just came to me, and I'm like all over that.
Yeah, that's deep.
I am all over that.
That's deep. The posture and what you, because listen, if you lift up a box from off the ground in the warehouses, they tell you to do it a certain type of way. Your posture and how you do it, it could hurt you.
Brings me to think of how the dream came. And I said I was standing in front of the bed. There was nothing that I could do to help you through your pain, right? My posture and how I was talking to you, I kept saying, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. But I couldn't get you to believe that it was going to be fine. It was going to be okay, right? But once I dealt with my own situation,
it was hard for you.
It was hard for me to tell myself that it was okay. And it's you know, when I seen Tank in the dream, I broke. Because I had to deal with my own pain. You know, I was witnessing someone else, and I could, yes, it's going to be fine, it's going to be okay. But I didn't believe it for myself when the pain came. Man, God is good. You hear me? Because, I mean, it was heavy. It was so heavy. And it makes me think of course, the two women that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And how God wants us to, you can't go tell people about God and then complain about him afterwards. Well, God's bringing me through this, and God's doing this, and I can't take it, or I can't handle it, or I don't know what he's gonna do. Stand on the fact that God is God, and he is who he is.
Yeah.
You know, and if Moses took that posture when God came to him and told him the entire plan, and then went to his people like, I know for a fact God's going to bring you out of this. Pharaoh, I'm letting you know now.
Wavering heart.
Pharaoh, right now, I'm telling you.
But that's what I said. If they all understood the assignment. You get what I'm saying?
Each person understood their assignment.
The assignment.
But you know who carried it well? Was his mother.
Yeah. Carried
the assignment well. And what happened when she came back to nurse her son? She was taken care of the whole time. So she didn't even have to worry.
Taken care of to take care of her own son.
Which he said to kill. And she went to go hide it and was able to Moses was able to come back to her.
And God took care of her through the son that she saved.
Because how did she handle it with the posture? She didn't act like she was defeated. She didn't act like God isn't who he is.
Just like the other lady. It's okay. It's fine. And I'm gonna do everything that God says, even though I can see that though my sight shows me this boy is dead, I'm gonna still do what God said.
And then that makes me also think of the not looking at your situation. What is it? Don't walk by
sight.
But by faith. The situation in Egypt for the children of Israel, Moses, everything, they paid attention to what was going on.
What they could see.
They weren't looking at the fact of what God told them. They didn't hold on to his word. They were just watching how Pharaoh took over and was doing all these bad things. You know, God then put them through a bunch of different situations and everything. They didn't hold on to his word.
Mm-hmm.
When Moses told them he's going, because he told the people first, he didn't go to Pharaoh, he told the people and gathered them together with them, but Moses went to him.
Mm-hmm.
He gathered all the people together and was like, listen, God
God
came and
sent
told me and to tell you that you guys are going to go to the milk and honey. He's going to bring you out of this land.
Yeah.
They didn't hold on to that. The minute Pharaoh gave them any strife, any of that, it was like, why did you even come and tell us this?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's worse. Man, God is so good. And at first we didn't understand why he was having us do this season of grief, but
Yeah.
somebody's dealing with the same thing.
Somebody feels a weight. Somebody feels heartache. Somebody feels some pain. They sad and they don't truly understand what is at hand, and the fact that if you feeling this, it's because God is at work.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? If you going through stuff like this, that means God is at work. And how are you handling the assignment that He gave you?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? How are you handling the task at hand? Are you handling it with God has the victory in mind, or are you handling it with I've lost, I've been defeated?
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? So if you are out there and you are feeling that heaviness, that burden, that grief, uh, I would say it's time for you to lean heavy on God.
Mm-hmm.
If you want that to go away, like
You want that relief.
like our last episode when I asked Sammy, I was like, would you say that uh leaning on God is what helped you heal? And he said, that's the only way I healed.
Yeah.
If I didn't lean to God, I wouldn't be healed today.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that in itself is just like, he felt heavy. He was hurt. He felt that pain, but he leaned into God and God took it away from him. You get what I'm saying? So you got that burden, you want it to be lifted, lean into God. He'll lift it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mm-mm-mm. So I want to leave with a couple of things, and I want you guys to, think about that. What grief are you carrying? And what is God trying to show you? How is God moving in this time? Don't miss the message. Don't miss what He's told you. Hold on to the fact that God is God and He's going to pull you through. And lean on Him even more through this time. It helped me. I know it's helped you.
Because that was the only way I got through that time period of laying in that bed was through God. And that was the only reason I appreciated life once I got back to walking. Is because God was talking to me that whole time laying in the bed. The only one that could take the pain away and keep me from crying some nights. Because, I mean, you was there. You seen how hard it was.
I know.
You seen how hard it was. That was like one of the worst times of my life. But if it wasn't for God, I probably wouldn't be here today because I didn't want to keep going through that.
Yeah.
And so, to anybody going through stuff, I done been through it.
I done been through
time
it.
and time again. You
Different
get what I'm
forms.
saying?
I didn't
And
do the same thing, but
different ways and different forms of grief. You get what I'm saying? The grief of losing friends, the dude like we was close and now we not close no more, and I'm hurt behind that, my feelings and this and that. But God is working.
He's working.
God is working. So
I want to say this, and I want to make sure I said this, that this left me with a better understanding of God in the dream and how it's all brought together. I think he's definitely shown us through our own circumstances of the grief that we didn't deal with. I didn't think that I was still dealing.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was long gone past.
Yeah.
But I think now that we dived in and we leaned on God's word, it gave me a better understanding of what he's doing in our lives.
And what's really going on.
And the platform
really
here.
I ain't gonna lie, for a lot of my life I felt like what was his name in the belly of the beast?
Jonah.
Just running.
Yeah.
Running like a mug, like, God, I know you called me to do this, but I'm gonna go, I know. And with me not completing this task at hand, that put burdens on me that I ain't even have to, I ain't have to carry that.
Yeah.
But I chose to carry it. I chose to put that weight on my back. You get what I'm saying? When all I had to do was listen to God. So sometimes some of those burdens, just like the children of Israel, they chose to go into bondage and slavery. They had a chance to just crown a new king, let him lead. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. They chose to stay in Egypt. They could have been done with that a long time ago if they would have held on to God's word. I want to leave with you guys that instead of questioning God with why and staying in just a feeling of grief, ask God, what are you missing right now? And what are you doing in this season? And remember not to stay in the season that the season has to end. So I leave that with you guys.
And my remark to leave you guys with is, when you find yourself in a season of grief, seek God. Just seek out his word. That's the best way to get an understanding of what he's doing, because he'll show you. But you gotta seek his face for him to show you and for him to let you know what's going on. Without you trying, that's you failing at the task. Don't fail your task. Lean into God. Let him show you how to win, how to get the victory in his name. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, y'all like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think and how you feel.
And it looks like we make it make sense.
We just made it make sense.